I finally beat Mass Effect 3. Took me long enough. I'm such a completionist that even though I had over 6,000 war readiness or war assets, I still had to go through and play multiplayer and play the data app on my iPhone and get my galactic readiness up to 100%. I know that with my war readiness the way it was already, I didn't need to, but again, I'm a completionist. I had to. Let me go ahead and first off and say that this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I'm not going to be showing a whole lot of video or anything like that other than what you've already seen in the demo, because again, I don't want to spoil it for any of you who have not beaten it yet or have not played it yet. I will be talking about the ending, and I will be actually telling you what my ending was, but not before I give you plenty of spoiler warnings before I talk about the ending, but that will be at the end of the video. I adored Mass Effect 3. Definitely to me, some of the best parts about Mass Effect 3 are the environments, the planets, and the design of the characters and a lot of the ships. Of course, I play as a femshep, my femshep from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2 to Mass Effect 3, which made me have the whole face bug glitch at the beginning when I imported my character, but it was fine because I just remade her look the way she did with little improvements, made her a little prettier. Also for Mass Effect 1 was my romance with my sweet, sweet Kaidan. Played all the way through Mass Effect 2 without romancing anyone else, stayed completely loyal to him even though he was very mad at me for working with Cerberus, rightfully so. I did kind of fool around with Kelly Chambers, but the game didn't count that as cheating, so it totally wasn't. I rekindled my relationship with him in Mass Effect 3, and of course I got that sex scene I'd been waiting 3 long games for. It was such a great payoff. Finally got to sleep with Kaidan. I loved playing through Mass Effect 3 and being able to see some of the characters that I interact with and even were on my squad from Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2. That was awesome, plus a lot of the new ones. And even some of the characters from the DLC of Mass Effect 2 made an appearance, which I thought was really awesome, especially for those of us who have been with the series since day one. Well, one of the most minor things I didn't like about the game was still a pet peeve, and this is stupid conversation wheels. Sometimes I read faster than the voice actors do, or sometimes it's really a conversation I don't care that much about and I'm just wanting to get through it, and I want to speed through by hitting X. But in Mass Effect, for some reason, it always defaults to the right, making you choose something you didn't actually want to choose. This has been something us fans have been asking for them to change since the first Mass Effect, and they just completely overlooked it. We know we have the technology to have the conversation chooser default to the middle. We can do this. Dragon Age did it. Why couldn't Mass Effect? So that was a rather inconvenience, but I wouldn't really say it was a negative. Another thing that we hated about Mass Effect 1 and 2, and that BioWare completely ignored us on and made sure it was back in Mass Effect 3, was the random renegade points I'd get. I'm sorry, I have to turn you down and I don't want to sleep with you. Why do I get renegade points for that? Can't there be like a nice, can't we just be friends turn down option? And why does BioWare always think that just because I'm being nice to someone means I want to sleep with them? I just wanted to comment on James's nice new tattoo. I didn't mean that I wanted him to come check out how nice my bed was. Makes no sense. I just want to be friends with my squad mates, and just because I'm friendly doesn't mean I want to sleep with all of them. The other thing that was really annoying was at the beginning all the disc changing I had to do. It was a little excessive. And let's not even get into all the bugs and glitches this game has. I mean, holy crap! Did this game even go through QA? I don't think it would have cleared if it had. And then the one other thing I have to say was just really, really, really poor design was the quest log. And there was just times where the quest log was just not updating at all. So there was no way of telling you or letting you know which items for different people you already had. And that's just annoying. If I have to go to planet A to get palladium for somebody, then when I get it, my quest log should update and say deliver this to so-and-so. It didn't, and that just sucks. But with all the negative, all of that, the game is a solid, awesome game. If you can get through it without the bugs and glitches, you will have an excellent time with this. The combat was awesome, the variety of weapons and upgrading the weapons, and like I said, the environments were gorgeous. The story kept me completely engaged. I wish there was a little bit more interaction with characters again, but Mass Effect's never been huge on character interaction, not like they were in Dragon Age. I loved the character interaction in Dragon Age. I really, really loved it. Mass Effect just feels kind of like a half-assed version of that, but I still enjoyed it. I still liked talking to the characters. I still loved making out with Kaidan. I just thought that Mass Effect 3 was an extremely good and solid ending to the series. It actually makes me sad that this is the end. I don't want it to be the end. I would totally play another Mass Effect. They really did a great job of pacing out the action with the story so it didn't feel like you were getting bogged down with so much information or that it was just so fast-paced action that there wasn't enough story. They really were able to pace it out just really, really, really well. Scanning, of course, scanning planets, everybody's favorite from Mass Effect 2, was definitely much better and much easier in Mass Effect 3. I know some people prefer the, what was that little hover car thingy, the rover, whatever, from Mass Effect 1. That was better than scanning in Mass Effect 2, but I actually prefer from Mass Effect 3. It was just simpler, and I loved having to be careful and then running from the Reapers constantly. Like every time I'd scan, they'd be like, oh, what's that? Somebody's out there. And they'd come chasing me. Another thing that I adored about Mass Effect 3 was the ship designs. I mean, just something about those Reapers when they're coming down onto Earth from like in the demo. They look like fleas. They look like giant fleas sucking the blood out of Earth. And even the Geth ships were really, really cool. They also look like little insects. Just a lot of the ship design, and not only the ship design, but the character design. And each planet had a separate feeling. I didn't feel like every time I walked into a building, it was the same corridor I'd been in before like I did in Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 didn't have a lot of variety in environments and even buildings, but I felt Mass Effect 3, every new place I went to had a personality of its own, and that is really, really important. A lot of games and companies overlook that each area needs its own personality, but Mass Effect 3 did a great job. I absolutely loved Mass Effect 3. Adored it. It was a great last game to the series. A great way to say goodbye to one of our favorite sci-fi series. And now I'm just sitting back and excited to see what BioWare's got up their sleeve next. Hopefully, if it's another Dragon Age, it's more like Dragon Age Origins and less like Dragon Age 2. So now let's go ahead and get to the ending. A lot of you hated the ending. Hated it, hated it, hated it. I liked it. My ending was actually pretty cool. I mean, I went through and I watched everybody else's endings. And yeah, some of the other endings were a little lackluster. But I mean, seriously, the game kind of told you what was going to happen. It gave you your choices and told you the outcome of all the choices. And the ending is just kind of like what your choices come to. I wouldn't mind seeing more of my choices from 1, 2, and 3 to come into play. In the ending, I think only like 1 or 2 did. But I'm still totally at peace with my ending, you know? I didn't mind it, and I'm happy with my choices. Some people are asking me if I'm going to play it through a second time. I really don't have a need to, because there's nothing I'd want to change about my playthrough or about my ending. Here's where we're going to get the spoilers, because I'm going to talk about exactly what happened in my ending and the choices I made. So if you've not beaten it yet, spoilers! In my ending, I decided to destroy the Reapers. The people that lived were, of course, Joker. I believe Joker lived in all the endings. Also Kaidan and Garrus. Apparently, the third person that walks out at the very end is the character that you favored. Not your love interest, but the one that you had in your party the most, and that would definitely be Garrus for me. I adored him. He's a great fighter, a great guy to have on my squad. But also, the best part is my Shep lived. Some people hate that their Shepard died, but mine lived, and if your Shepard died, I mean, that little kid boy crucible thing told you when you were going to die if you chose what you did, so kind of saw that coming, but yeah. Now what I'd really like is like a DLC to where you play as maybe a character already on your squad that lived, and your mission is to go find Shepard, like find Shepard's remains or find Shepard alive, depending on your ending. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I understand some of you guys not liking your ending and wanting more of your choices in the past games to really show up in the ending. I mean, that would have been cool, yeah. So, I asked you guys on my Twitter and Facebook, if you could write the ending to Mass Effect 3, how would your game have ended? One Night Stand said, a bittersweet endings are fine. I just focus on endings that resulted from your decisions across 3 games. Completely agree with that. I know throughout the game, some of your options and choices did come into play, but not as much as I think we all would have liked. Then Alt Die Ralph says, everything and everyone would die. I would make an ending where Shep lives and controls the Reapers while being alive, then uses the Reaper army as Earth's main defense for future wars. That could actually be really cool. I could see that happening, but the elusive man did teach us that you can't really control the Reapers. Then JK says, I would have made it so the Reapers did win, but with a better reason than the one they gave of why it had to happen. That would have been pretty awesome as well, but I wouldn't want them to win, because you're playing this whole game to defeat them just to fail. That would really suck. I think that would have sucked worse than some of the other endings. Corpsey says that he would like to have seen the little boy that gets killed at the start comes back to life and kicks the elusive man in the nuts. Everyone laughs. The end. That wouldn't resolve much at all. Crisis says he would have liked to seen Shepard sacrifice himself to trigger the Crucible. Reapers die, races celebrate, Normandy crew mourns, there's a funeral, and then love interest calls child Shepard. That would totally work if you were a male Shep and romance a female, but me being a femme Shep and I die, can't really have a baby, especially since I romance Caden. He can't get pregnant. One of my favorite answers came from Davey Hartley and says Samuel L. Jackson approaches Shepard in the rubble and tells him about the Avengers Initiative. I think that would have stirred up quite some conversation with the fans, both happy and very angry. I also find it awesome that a lot of you, of course, reverted right back to the sex scenes. Breviate Meat Shield says 30 minutes of Tally, Liara, Edie sex scene. You mean all three at the same time? Just together? Or all three at the same time with your Shepard? Also, Adam Vendor says a massive orgy. Well, Mass Effect is known for sexy scenes and lots of fireworks. Oh yeah, my sexy scene with Caden definitely involved a lot of fireworks. So yeah, with the ending I got, my Shepard lives, and my two favorite characters live, and I completed my mission that I've had throughout the whole game. Not a bad ending for me. I wouldn't mind to see if BioWare ends up changing anything. I don't know. I kind of don't want them to. I think gamers and fans are going to bitch no matter what the ending is because it is so final. But I don't know. There are some good points out there about plot holes. But then again, when has Mass Effect never had plot holes? Mass Effect has always been filled with plot holes. And you think the ending's going to be any different? I think it's better than some of the other video games where their endings, especially the end of a series, is just such a sellout. And you're like, really? You're not even going to try to be cool? You're just going to make everybody smile and pat each other on the back and be like, yay! And then roll to credits. I liked Mass Effect's ending because I thought it was a little bit edgier, a little bit more ballsy than most. If you haven't played Mass Effect yet and you're still watching this video, I totally just spoiled so much for you. But play it. It's awesome. You'll like it. And the multiplayer is actually really good too. Alright guys, thanks for watching.